Hey everyone, welcome. Mm. So awesome to be here again. I'm so enjoying doing these live videos for you guys. It seems to be a fixed element in my Saturday's calendar. So today I want to talk about why are women sexually dissatisfied? Like, what is it about? Some things seem obvious, but there are other things that are not so obvious. So now this video is mostly for men who feel excited and committed and ready to really step up as a lover, as a partner, as her best friend, to help her open up for deeper pleasure. But it's also absolutely open for all the women who want to dive deeper into their body and understanding what maybe those possible blocks that we experience that are not allowing us to really fully feel what's possible in our bodies. So hello everyone who is here live. If you wanna send me a message who you are, because I actually don't see it from all of this platform, I don't really see that, but yeah, just send me who you are, men, woman, what's your name. Lovely to see you guys. And of course, for everyone later watching the replay, absolutely take advantage of the comments to let me know what you're thinking. I read all of this. So the thing is that, and it's a really sad truth. I would say this is really like one of the pandemics that we have these days, is that majority of women are not sexually satisfied. Truth is that majority of women do not have orgasm. It's in some statistics, they say only 30% of women do. And then among the ones who do, mostly women have clitoral orgasm. So the possibility or the ability of having a deep vaginal orgasm, which was very different, is something that most women have never experienced. They don't know how to do this. I even remember meeting a man a few years ago who told me that it's impossible, that women cannot have vaginal orgasm. So that's just kind of to give you an idea of where we are with all of this. Truth is, most women have some sort of sexual trauma. It may be direct, like rape, but most of us carry trauma no matter what, because it's how we've been conditioned to think about sexuality, that it's so easy for us to get hurt and impacted and then carry this. So we'll speak about these. Like I said, most women don't have vaginal orgasm, but truth is, most women don't have sensations inside of their vagina. So literally, when a partner is inside of them, they don't feel it. They feel the outside of the vagina, they feel their clitoris, but they don't feel sensations inside of the vagina. So for men, just for you to kind of understand what it is, imagine you had no sensations in your cock. Like imagine trying to have, sex and an orgasm like that. Another thing is that most women experience physical pain in penetration or discomfort. And I'm talking about physical pain or discomfort. Once again, for all the men watching, like imagine how it would feel like if during penetration you continuously felt pain, but that would be sort of like the status quo for you, because that's what it is for women. And just the overall message is that even though women can be in a relationship and they can be very happy, they can feel loved and love, they can be dating their best friend, like everything may be amazing, most women are not sexually satisfied in their long-term relationships. And the problem with this is that women don't speak up. Like, we don't ask our men to do something different. We don't go out there to experiment and learn. We don't proactively try to change the situation. We just sort of kind of assume that this is what it is. That's how the reality looks like, and just deal with this. It's a little bit like, women learn to just feel like, well, when I have my moon cycle, I'm in pain. I deal with this. As in, like, this is what it has to be, and it's not. It's absolutely not. So I want to kind of dive deeper into this, because truth is that it takes both men and women to help us really bring up sexual satisfaction for women. So us as women, we need to do certain work, but we also need men. We need our lovers to support us. So thank you so much for being here and watching this video, because we need men to understand these things. Like, without this understanding, it's really difficult for a woman to be in a place to really drop deep into her pleasure. So let's look at these different areas, these different aspects, and so that you can have some insight what you can do for either your current or future partner. So the first reason or the problem is that women and men, we literally just don't know what works for us. So if you think about it, we haven't received sex education. And I want to underline the word we didn't receive, as in like no sex education. If you ever had anything in school, which was like ridiculously basic and stupid, did you even have 5 minutes in that program that told you how to please a woman? Like nothing. We literally do not know. It's sort of like traveling to a new planet, being there for the first time and trying to figure like all the things on your own. It's not easy. It's not easy. And already if you've traveled to like different countries on our planet, like go, for example, to an Arabic country, go to India that have, very different culture. Like if you don't understand how it works, you're gonna get lost and you can get in trouble and you may have really bad experience because you don't understand how these places work. It's the same with the female body and female arousal and sexuality. We simply do not know things. And I really often tell the story with the people that the very first mental disease that was recorded or treated by the medical society as an actual mental disease was hysteria. And that was a disease that women suffered from, and that basically meant that a woman was horny and was not sexually satisfied. So all of the sexual frustration was making her kind of crazy, and that was considered a mental disease. Okay, that kind of tells us what we think about female sexuality, what we've known about it. Like I said, I met this guy who literally told me that no, women cannot have vaginal orgasm. So that's the level of our knowledge. It's the same with women. Many women really don't believe it's possible. I love every single woman on this planet who is like promoting female sexuality. But I have this friend of mine who's pretty big in the scene, and like she would keep posting things like, "Hey, it's called the clit, use it," and everything towards the clit, like the head of the clit. And I'm like, do you even know that a woman can have an orgasm without touching the clit? So yes, clitoris is amazing, but it's still us being stuck in the narrative that you have to touch the head of the clitoris. I'll tell you on behalf of many women, there is a limit how much you can touch the head of the clitoris because it can get very sensitive. And at some point, it's actually unpleasant. So a lot of men think that, yeah, I'm going to go down on her and like lick her clitoris and she's going to come. And that's not exactly how a female body works. Some female bodies don't even enjoy oral sex so much. There's nothing wrong with them. Again, it's because female sexuality is so different and no one teaches us that. And together with this, after generations of suppressing sexuality, after generations of calling women sluts if they were more open sexually, we do not have a culture of self-exploration. So, it's sort of like, let's say you want to learn how to cook, you would go and read, different books and check online different recipes and then experiment. Now, that's kind of the system of learning anything, right? But we don't do it with our sexuality. As women, we should be reading whatever there is on the topic and then go and experiment with our bodies. But we don't. Why? Because there is still shame around masturbation, and because we don't really have time. We always have other responsibilities to do. Why? Because sexuality doesn't seem to be a priority. And and this is why things don't change. Like we literally don't know. And there's less and less experts in the field. And it's like this knowledge on one hand is being forgotten, but on the other hand also it's beautiful to see people standing up and we get to talk about sexuality more and more. However, I will make a point that even though we have these teachers, all of the platforms, including YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, they're basically blocking us. Like so many of my friends have been blocked. I've been kicked out of Facebook 3 times because of my content. So even though like people are trying to spread this information and share education, we are being blocked. So that just again shows that it's not so easy to get this information out to the people. We're doing our best, trying different platforms, doing courses, one-on-one teachings where we don't rely on those official platforms, but yeah, it's still a challenge. So like I said, one is simply no education. We do not know. So for all the women watching, please do your research, read the books, work with someone, join online courses, and secondly, go and experiment what works for you. You gotta like play with this to actually put it in practice. And for the men, the same. Like actually study, like literally study, join courses, read about it. Don't assume you know, because trust me, you do not know. You do not know. So it's all about education. This is the first thing. Now, the second thing, in this regards, it's about the men. So I have heard so many times from men that, like, oh, any other woman enjoyed it. Oh, no other woman I've been with ever had like difficulties having an orgasm. And I'm listening to this. I'm like, are you that naive, darling? If statistically only ever 1 in 3 women have an orgasm, do you really think that every woman you've been with had an orgasm? I'm like, darling, in case you're not aware of this, we're really good at faking it. Like statistically, I'm telling you, only 30% of women have orgasm. So you may have been, you may be a great lover. Still, not every woman you've been with had an orgasm. Darling, they have pretended. You have to kind of understand we do it. It's a different conversation why, but really. So don't assume that every woman before this one had orgasm and everything worked. Now you got in some way a broken woman. No. What you're getting right now is a woman who's honest, who's basically telling you, hey, I struggle and I don't want to lie to you. I'm not going to pretend that I'm having an orgasm when I don't. And so treat it as a gift, because you just got a woman who is way more vulnerable, way more open, and who feels safe with you enough to tell you about this. Okay. I also heard men I mean, this actually came from one of my girlfriends. She was telling me the story of being with a man, and he wanted to offer her a specific type of a touch that she didn't ask for. And he said, like, no, you're going to enjoy it. I'm telling you, every other woman loves it. And this friend of mine got really angry because she's like, okay, you may suggest this touch to me, but don't just tell me that I'm going to enjoy it, because you're basically telling me that you know my body better than me. And so I would also say to all the men, because I've experienced this too, and like I said, I've heard it from a lot of my girlfriends, please, like, let your ego, like, outside of the bedroom, like, drop your pride, okay? This is not about you. It's not about, what used to work for other women. This is about what's working for this woman. So I have experienced this. Many men are just not open to learning something new. It seems to be, and I mean, it is, if we talk about what is masculinity these days, we have this idea that a true alpha male is the man who can fuck a lot of women and give them lots of orgasm, which is definitely an aspect, but it becomes such a, like, big part of the identity for a man, like such a big part of the ego of a man, that it's really hard for a man to just receive a woman and listen to her. And if she's saying that, hey, I'm not enjoying this, please don't do this, or try this, to actually listen to her. I find that men's pride, men's ego is one of the biggest obstacles for a woman to share that, hey, I'd like something else, and be able to have those deep orgasms with you. Because if you're defensive, if you're not open, if you don't ask questions, if you come from the place of assuming that I'm a great lover and you should be lucky to have me, then this is just not gonna work, So to you men watching this, please, please, please face your ego. And I know this is not easy. Facing our ego is never easy, but please face your ego, because when you're with her in the bedroom, when it's about, pleasure and everything, it's about her pleasure, okay? It's not about your ego. And I've seen this when men would be more focused on, I'm such a great lover, than actually noticing if she is enjoying whatever it is that you're doing, So please, 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 just be open and listen, okay? That's just very, very, very important. And I do have to say, yes, I've had a series of selfish lovers. Lots of my friends did as well. I've had lovers who were so focused on their own cock, their own ejaculation, their own pleasure. And I've also had lovers who would tell me things like, oh, for me, like, a woman's pleasure is my priority. And I'm like, if it was really the truth, you wouldn't have to say this. And if it is really the truth, then again, ask me questions. Ask me, what is it that I like? Do I like this or do I not? And if I don't like something, then don't push for this, right? And if I tell you that I like something and you may not be the biggest fan of this, still see if you could possibly offer it to me, because I'm asking you, I'm telling you what I need to feel great. Um, so basically, don't ignore her sexual needs. She may not be able to express them, but if she is, then please treat them with respect and with love. It's so difficult for women to speak about these things. So if she is, she's making an incredible act of courage. So encourage this, like receive this, listen to her feedback, listen to her sexual needs, okay? You have a huge impact on whether she can be sexually satisfied or not. So this is up to you, my love. This is you. This is your spiritual work. This is your personal growth work to release the ego from the sexuality and be open and listen to her and be open to changing things, to doing something different. Now, the third area, and this is the fact, it's a link to what I just talked about. It's the fact that as women, we don't really ask, we don't share, we don't speak about it because we feel shy. And we feel shy for many reasons. One is, like I said, men often just don't listen. I've been, in the past, I've been made, like it was shown that like there's something wrong with me because I was struggling with orgasm. It's like, I remember this one conversation with a man, and I was like, hey, listen, so I'm struggling with this, but it's not about you. And he replied, I know it's not about me. I know it's you. And I'm like, whoa, what? Thank you. Like that just shut me down. So it's very important that, as a man, you don't make a woman feel guilty for this. It's like, for all the men listening, right? If you're currently not making a lot of money, you're painfully aware of this. You don't need a woman to come and tell you, hey, you're not making money, right? How would it make you feel? It would kill your spirit. So trust me, a woman who's struggling with orgasm is painfully aware that this is her reality. She doesn't need you to blame her and point it to her. Instead, we need you to be understanding and ask us questions and try to do your best to help us get there. And because that's not what we receive, unfortunately, this is why we don't talk about it. We do feel shy. We feel shy admitting this. And this is why so many women are faking orgasm, because it's such a vulnerable place to be in, to admit that we struggle with this. Okay, so that is super important. And by the way, if a woman is too shy, if she doesn't feel comfortable speaking to you about that, then this also shows trust issues between you. And one of the essential elements for a woman to be able to drop into pleasure is trust. Now, this is actually trust towards her inner masculine. But because it's something that it's hard for women to feel, because most of us have not actually received pure masculine energy and presence. Most of us have not been held in the right way by our previous lovers or our fathers. So we don't know how to trust the inner masculine. So we externalize it towards our partners. So we kind of feel like I need to trust my partner. He's masculine to drop deep into pleasure. So if she doesn't feel comfortable speaking to you about it, that means that she doesn't fully trust you. And so this is another thing I would invite you to look at, because that's the obstacle in itself. Make sure that she can trust you. And trust, it's not an objective concept, it's a subjective concept. Like you may feel that the way you show up in a relationship is enough for her to trust you, but she may not. This may be based on her own fears, her own desires, her past experiences. So this is a conversation to have, okay? So your job, in a way, for all the men listening, is to make her feel safe to be able to speak to you. And for all the women listening, like really make sure you do express this. It's like too many women do not speak up, and because of this, we're not even making space to do anything about it. And now number 4. So this is another huge topic, and that's one of the reasons why women don't talk about it, they don't express it to their partners, and why nothing changes, is that women simply think that that's all that they get to have. They don't understand that they can have better, that they can have more. So it's like, we only allow in our mind things that we've experienced. Like if you ask me, for example, if I'm working on money, right? That's one of the things for all the people trying to make more money in life. If you've only known poverty, it's really difficult for you to suddenly start attracting a lot of money because you've never known money. You've never known abundance. So it's a foreign concept. So anytime you start kind of, seeing a bit more money, you're like, you don't even notice that. You don't receive this information, and you push it away unconsciously, but you do. And so we need to start understanding that as a woman, you can have deep sexual pleasure and satisfaction. So we need to continuously be facing our upper limit. There's a really good book called The Big Leap. I don't remember the name of the author, but what this book talks about, it's exactly this upper limit. And it says there's a limit to how much goodness we can accept in our life. And this is true again for sexuality. So if I have never had an orgasm, I don't actually know what an orgasm is. I don't know that it's possible because it has not been possible for me until now. And so this is a huge, huge thing that women literally assume that mediocre sex life, that not having many orgasms, struggling to have an orgasm, not fully enjoying sexuality. So many women just kind of learn to believe that this is what it is. That's the reality. So what can you do about this? Number one is progressively open yourself up to more and more pleasure. So start doing things like a yoni massage. Receive a beautiful sensual massage from your partner. Do energy work, like do breath work. Start gently lifting this upper limit. And like if this is your comfort zone, you don't want to jump here because you won't be able to, right? You want to gently start expanding it. I'm like, oh, I get to feel more pleasure and more pleasure and more pleasure, and start challenging the limit that your mind has regarding how much pleasure you can experience at this moment. Secondly, it's really good to actually be surrounded by women who are orgasmic. So whether that means having a threesome or group sex or going for any sex parties and actually witness other women around you who are orgasmic, like see, oh, it is possible. That's very helpful. Now, I'm not talking about watching porn where most of orgasms are fake and the way that women scream and act, it's just like, it's total BS. Now, I'm not saying there's no real orgasm in porn. I'm just saying that lots of them are fake. So if we're looking for transmission, we really want to receive an honest transmission. So if like really being in a sexual space with other women seems like, if that seems too much, what you can do is just like talk about these things with other women. Like listening to women who keep talking about their orgasm, their sexuality, what's possible. Because just through that conversation, you actually will be opening up your mind. It's like, oh, well, it sounds like it is possible, right? So just keep doing this. Of course, any forms of affirmations are great. So if you want to keep repeating to yourself, I am orgasmic. I am orgasmic. I'm sexual. I have a strong sexual energy. It's easy for me to have an orgasm. Like repeating this also allows us to change our mindset around what's possible. But it's super important that like, unless you experience more pleasure, you will not believe that more pleasure is available. And so one of the big things with the teachings like I do and other women and men in my field is to kind of bring this awareness to both men and women that what we understand about female sexuality today is limited. Like if you think that this is the limit of what a woman can experience, then you're the obstacle in her path of going deeper. You're the obstacle. Like you have to understand that it's way deeper than that. Like a woman, like I in times when I was most open, I would sit on a rock and I would feel the energy of the rock entering my yoni so much. I would go into like this subtle orgasmic state just by sitting on a rock. Okay. I've heard stories from other women, like they would have an orgasm by hugging a tree. Like I said, a woman can have an orgasm without having her clitoris touched. So there's all of these possibility in the female body. And there's so many different types of orgasm that women can have, like 8 different types of genital orgasm that are available for women. So like I said, we really need to start redefining what we think female sexuality is, what we think female pleasure is, because there's so much more. And it also goes way beyond even just penetration, oral sex, and like what we consider sex. There's one comment: men lack. Is it that men lacking in foreplay makes women sexually dissatisfied? Yes. However, I define foreplay very differently. So I have nothing against quickies. I have nothing against like intense, full-on, right-away sex. There's space for this, absolutely. So foreplay to me, it's about keeping female awake. So if she's, for example, didn't think of sex the whole day and suddenly you guys are meeting, she's not going to be very open for sex just like that, because she needs to warm up. So then it may be about half an hour of foreplay now, but there are also ways how you can keep her warm throughout the day. And so then she doesn't have to, like, she'll be ready to go into sex kind of right away because she'll be already aroused. And that's one of the big things also for men and women, like, to know a woman should be always kept gently aroused throughout her day. Don't ever leave a woman cold, because then it's difficult to get her ready for sex. A woman should be always warm. Like, there should always be life force and juiciness activated in her body. So like I said, these are the areas, okay? I wanted to cover these main areas for you guys so you kind of get to understand a bit deeper why this is happening and what is the role of both men and women in this process. Like I said, we as women, we need to take ownership and do our part, like learn about our body, experiment, be open to asking, you know, what we need, like actually speak up. And also don't get so defensive when someone tells us that, hey, you know, you could do this and try this, because women also can get super defensive when someone is trying to point to us something different that we could do. You know, it's like, no, I'm perfect, I don't want to talk about it. So this is our responsibility. And for the men, please be open to what your woman wants, not what any other woman wanted before. Please get your ego out of the bedroom. This is the biggest obstacle. You get to be the one to support her to open up for those orgasms, or you get to be the one who keeps her shut down. Like, you really have that kind of impact on her. If she's in a relationship with you, it means that she loves you, she's open, she's surrendered to you, she's in a very vulnerable place by offering you her body and her heart and her yoni. So what you do with this makes a huge difference, okay? So this is why, if you guys have been following me, a few days ago, I opened one of my flagship courses called Female Sexuality Decoded. And this is the first time I am opening it as a home study course. So before, it would happen once or twice a year, only in this moment. And I know that a lot of men wanted to join, but they just couldn't because of any responsibilities they had at that time. And so I decided to make it a home study course so you can go through this content whenever you can. And so what I'm talking about in this course is exactly how to open a woman sexually. So I'm teaching you all of the secrets about female body and female pleasure, which, truth is, a lot of women are not even aware of. Like I said, we lack education. We don't know. So you get to know something that probably your partner doesn't even know about herself. We're going to talk about all of these different types of orgasms that are available for women. And these are genital and non-genital orgasms. Like I said, there are 8 different types of genital orgasm for a woman. Like, did you know about them? Do you know what they are? Do you know how to activate her body to give her that sensation? We'll talk about sexual healing, because like I mentioned, most women have been in some way a victim of harassment or abuse. Even if it's not direct, it impacts our yoni, our ability to feel the pleasure. It makes our vaginas painful or numb. So sexual healing is an essential step in every woman's sexual life. We have to know how to address it. And what you do can either re-traumatize her or can help her heal. So that's a huge topic. I'm also going to guide you through a ritual, how to give her a beautiful ritual so that she gets to be fully pampered and treated. And through that, learn to trust you even more, learn to be safe with you even more. And which is, you know, as I mentioned before, an essential step for her to drop into pleasure. And there's also other topics in this training, like we're going to talk about how to use dominance and control, the polarity of masculine and feminine. So we have amazing, amazing content in this training. So if you're interested in checking it out, the link is magdak.com/female, and you're going to see the link also in the comments. So this way you can go and check the program out. And because it's a new program, it just got open a few days ago, until Tuesday, we're offering $100 off of the price of this course. So if you are curious about all this information, if you would like to be the best partner for her, if you would like to support her in dropping deep into her body and save some money, please take action right now. And of course, if you guys have any questions, let me know. I'm here. Comment later, reach out to me on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. I love speaking to you guys and going deeper into these topics. So thank you so much for tuning in live. I'll be catching you guys soon with more content. Mwah.